Welcome to the Money and Meaning Show. I'm your host, Kanae Corder, National Certified Counselor and the world's #1 clinical hypnotherapist, specializing in stress management for healthcare professionals who want to turn a life of stress into a life of meaning and help their patients do the same. Tune in each week. I'll show you how to respond to yourself first. So, are you ready to let go of your stress? Well, let's get into today's show. Hey there, my Prosperos. I got to tell you something in 1 second. But first, let me just welcome you to this episode of the Money and Meaning podcast. This is episode 121. We're about to wrap up the year, just a few more episodes left. And we're going to talk about how to make 2021 better than 2020. Now, I want you to know I already recorded a 30-minute episode that was so good, but my mic was off. Yeah, just put a bow on 2020, right? There was so many things that went haywire in 2020 and crap like that, where you just get so into recording. You should have saw me. I was like, I was all in it. I was feeling it. And then right before I ended, I clicked to see where I was. And I didn't see any of these like squiggly lines when you record. You know how that goes, the waves, sound waves. I didn't see any of that. And I was like, what? Yeah, thank you. Well, my only thing that I have to say is that this episode is going to be even better than the one I just recorded. That's what I have to say. That's the way I have to do it. Think of it that way. So thank you guys for joining me. Hey there, my Pros. Whether you're new or older, you've been here for a while, I want to welcome you. And if you're new, I am Kanae Corder, National Certified Counselor and the world's #1 clinical hypnotherapist, specializing in financial therapy. That's one of the things we're going to talk about. Finances, health, wellness, love. What was 2020 like for you? Yeah, if you listened to last week's episode, you know 2020 was interesting for me in so many ways. It was like some really, really low lows and some really, really high highs. Now, it could have gotten even lower. So I'm not saying I experienced the worst of things. I actually didn't. It wasn't like the worst of times and the best of times. It was like the best of times and then some not so great times. It's kind of like that. What was it like for you? How would you describe 2020? Yeah. So this episode is kind of like, I don't have a guest today and I'm not really teaching. Like, it's not a mini course like sometimes it is. This is more like pondering. Like, I'm interviewing you. Yeah. It's like I'm interviewing you. And through this interview, I'm going to give you some pointers, some ideas on how to make 2021 better than 2020. Now, if 2020 was good for you, like it was for me, then just imagine how awesome 2021 is going to be. Woohoo! And 2022, even better, totally freaking awesome. Yeah. And it just get better and better and better from there. Now, I know everything is not going to go your way. Do you know that? Well, then I'm so glad we had this conversation, because that's just first. Just realize not everything is going to go your way. It just isn't. It's just, it can't. Things just go the way they go. And then you decide how you want to respond to them, how you want to feel about them, and what you want to do based on what happened. Now, it doesn't matter what's happening in the world. All that matters is what's happening inside of you. You can stay calm and peaceful and loving, even when there is racial chaos and healthcare crisis and financial crisis and death numbers rising, conspiracy theories. Yeah, all of this happened just in this year and just in a few months. Yeah. I want to ask you a few questions so that you can get some clarity on what 2020 was for you. Let me ask you this. What did you expect from 2020? We all have some sort of expectations. We shouldn't, but we do. What did you expect from 2020? What was 2020 supposed to be for you? Now, personally, I thought I'd do more speaking engagements than I did. In fact, this was probably the least amount of speaking engagements I did in quite a few years. I even thought I would raise my speaking fee in this year. I wasn't able to do that. I thought I'd go to more conferences. Yeah, I went to less, and they were virtual, of course. And so I didn't get to do as much networking and meeting people, and probably not even as much learning this year as I would have liked to. We definitely expected to grow this year, which I don't think we did. We'll do our analytics. We grew in the fact that of course, we had new patients coming in, new members coming in, but not the growth that we expected to have. But we did do a bunch of pivoting and shifting and changing. And I'm very thankful for those changes. My personal life grew a lot too. I gained so many new friends. And I mean, yeah, they were real friends too. Not just like associates. Like I have people that I can call on now. Now I've always had people I can call on. So I don't want you to misunderstand me, but I mean like I can sit on their couch. Like I don't mean like call you in an emergency. Yeah, not that, because I don't have a lot of those. But I just mean somebody that I could just be like, hey girl, what's up? Or hey guy, what's up? Like I have friends like that now. And some of them I've met on social media, oddly enough. It's just not where I expected to meet people. Because I'm not that big of a social media person. You'll look at my Instagram. I don't have that many followers. I don't have that many followers on Facebook. Probably the most followers on LinkedIn. But social media is just not my thing. I'm not a social media influencer. I'm influencer right in person. So I expected to do live events, and that's how I typically meet people, but I didn't do that this year. So I met a lot of people on the internet. And that's kind of cool, surprisingly. Now, I did meet the love of my life in real life. I met him playing tennis, which I thought I was going to have to meet somebody doing like online dating or app dating, whatever it's called. I thought I was going to have to do that, but I didn't. And that felt good because I actually really, really, really wanted to meet somebody in real life. Like I wanted a really like cool story. And we do. We have a really cool story. I'll tell you about it later. This isn't the episode. But what were your expectations for 2020? Like what did you think you would do or accomplish, experience in 2020? And then how did you feel about 2020? How did you feel about 2020? I personally, I'm not mad at 2020. I'm actually kind of in love with 2020. I know it's so weird because most people hate 2020 and I feel so contradictory, but that's me. Typically Kanae going against the gray, going against the crowd. I really like 2020. It's been a tough year, a lot of change, but I thrive in change. I adore change. Like variety is the spice of life, right? And I love spicy. I love a spicy life. I love a spicy dish too. I just love spicy. And whether it's life or food, spicy is good for me. And just so you know, that used to be my nickname when I was in high school and in a dance troupe. Yeah. Little inside joke. Just in case you are in trivia, you know that answer just because you listen to this episode. I don't know when that is ever going to come up, but just in case it does, you got it. Anyway, as I was saying, I got some questions I want to ask you. And I want you to really ponder them and think, because this is like your interview. And I'm not going to ask you what your idea of prosperity is, like I typically ask. But if you want to answer that, because you probably have answered that for yourself already, these questions are going to go even deeper than that. So I've already asked you 2 questions, and those questions were, what did you expect from 2020? And how did you feel? What was the feeling that 2020 gave you? But did you know how you wanted to feel? Like, had you already put out what you wanted 2020 to feel like for you? Probably not. So if you want 2021 to be better than 2020, then the first thing I want you to do is to get clear on how you want to feel in 2021. And once you get really clear on that, I want you to visualize that or just feel that feeling. You'll know the feeling. Maybe you want to feel gratitude for the year. Maybe you want to, like me, you want to feel growth. That is the feeling that I want to have. I wanted that for 2020. We have had some growth, but in a strange way. So it wasn't the exact growth I wanted to feel, but we did feel like we grew. But I want to feel even more growth. And maybe you want to scale. And those two things are different. And we weren't looking to scale, we were looking to grow. Whatever you want to feel like you're scaling, feel like you're growing. Feel like you're free. Feel like, so for some people, their business is enslaving them. It's burning them out. But you can you can tell yourself that is old you and you're going on to a new you. Yeah, hypnotherapy helps make that happen. But there's so much that you can do. So think about it. What would you say was the best thing that happened in 2020 for you? What was the best thing? And what would you say was the worst thing that happened for you in 2020? Yeah, think about it. Now, for some people, there were some really bad things happening in 2020. My sister had a few friends that passed away. Some people lost money, their jobs. Yeah, it's been a trying year for many. I had already taken a big loss in 2019. Like, I really shifted my life and moved. And yeah, if you've been listening for a while, if you haven't, just go back and listen to some of the presidential update episodes. And so because of that, 2021 wasn't as big of a drop for me because I was already in the process of making a lot of changes. So let's recap on the questions. I'm wondering what you expected from 2020, what you felt in 2020, and then what do you want to feel in 2021? All of these questions are going to help you make 2021 a better year. What do you want to experience in 2021? Get really clear on that. Now, here's a question that's my favorite question. Now, I told you, this is like me interviewing you. But now we're about to shift to sort of like a therapy session. This is the number one question I ask in every single session. And I want to ask you because it's important that you answer. It's important that you know this. And that question is, what went well in 2020? That's a question I ask every single session. What's going well? So what went well in 2020? Get familiar with that. Give 2020 its props if something went well. Now, you've probably already talked about what didn't go well. But I'm going to ask you, that's the next question I'm going to ask you. What challenges did you experience? Or what do you foresee? Because the end of the year isn't even over. Like, we still have, to make sure our taxes were right. And our taxes are going to be kind of strange this year. We probably didn't talk to our attorneys enough. So we need to look at legal and make sure everything is in place for this year. We got our incorporation documents or whatever those things are that we have to do every year. So our team has to get together before the end of the year and finish and finalize some things. Personally, I'm happy for the end of the year. My birthday's at the end of the year. I don't celebrate holidays. So I get to rest while everybody else does that holiday thing. So what went well? What challenges do you foresee or had you experienced in 2020? And then this question is a really good question that you may not be thinking about, and I want you to. What support do you need? Now, in 2020, if you didn't ask for help and you needed it, shame on you. Maybe you didn't ask for help because you feel like everybody is going through the same thing you're going through and nobody is able to help you. Maybe you didn't ask for help because you're usually the person that everybody comes to, so you didn't even know how to fix your lips to ask for help. Maybe you didn't ask for help because you're just so freaking tired you couldn't even get the words out of your mouth. Whatever the reason is, I want you to let it go. This podcast is brought to you by Presidential Lifestyle, a wellness company focused on wealth in all of its forms, providing the world's best life transformational programs to healthcare professionals, elevating everything from your mind, body, spirit, productivity, and even your business. Every area of your life transformed and optimized for just a few dollars a day. You'll have access to live hypnotherapy, on-demand virtual guides, and continuing education courses, as well as group discussion forums, all available from your mobile phone or your desktop. Get early access to this life transformational program by visiting presidentiallifestyle.com/early. Let me ask you a question. Are you a healthcare or a wellness professional burned out from the demands of what it takes to truly serve your patients and clients? Then Presidential Experience is for you. You need someone to pour into you the way you pour into others. It's time for you to make the shift from putting others first to responding to yourself first. I'll show you exactly how to do it. Right now, we're looking for 25 purpose-driven healthcare professionals to participate in our early access program. I've developed this program over the past 10 years, and I've learned that it can help break through the blocks keeping healthcare professionals from enjoying their life's work. We are limiting access to 25 people because keeping the group small will help maximize the impact. I'm offering to share my techniques with you at a deeply discounted rate in exchange for your feedback and shares. If you join us on this transformational journey, we will work together weekly as I deliver live group hypnotherapy sessions so you can experience it for yourself. I'll share with you the techniques and answer your questions as you prepare to use what you've learned in your own life and practice. Outside of your weekly sessions with me, you can interact with other members to share ideas and success stories. So here's what you're going to do. Go to presidentiallifestyle.com/early. If you're even remotely interested in this, don't wait because it won't last long. Go ahead, click the link in the show notes or go to presidentiallifestyle.com/early because there's more to tell you. So I look forward to working with you, and I'll see you sooner. No more of that. You're going to be asking for help this year in 2021. That is another way that you're going to make 2021 better than 2020. You are going to ask for help or guidance. Maybe that's a different word because honestly, I'm not that big a fan of the word help. I'm not. When people say, how can I help? I'm like, help? I don't need any freaking help. I'm Superwoman, right? Maybe some of you can identify, but I'm not that word help doesn't land on me very well. So let's use the word guidance. You're going to ask for guidance in 2021. You're going to ask for guidance in 2021. Yeah. Are you with me? Good. So number 3 really should be number 1. Don't get stuck in 2020. If you want to make 2021 better than 2020, don't get stuck in 2020. Let it go. Forgive the world. Forgive white people. Forgive black people. Forget cops. Forgive all the people. Just forgive. Forgive the presidents. Forgive the runners-up. Forgive the cabinets. Forgive. Just forgive. Forgive your neighbors. Forgive your coworkers. Let it go. 2021 will turn into 2020 if you get stuck in it. So you got to let 2020 go so that 2021 can be better. The more you stay in 2021, the more you stay in 2020, the more likely 2021 is to be just like this year. Is that what you want? Of course not. So you might be saying, well, how can I? You know I have a solution. But continue to listen to this podcast because I'm going to guide you through 2021 to make it super freaking amazing. And then there's other things, there's other ways. We have the Prosperity Club. We have the Presidential Experience. We have courses, guides, we call them. We have guides. So we have free ways. You can hang out with me on Instagram and LinkedIn. I got you. I'm going to guide you through 2021 so that you don't get stuck in 2020. So come on with me. All right. However you see fit. Maybe you want to be really, really close to me and do a one-on-one retreat because that's what we have coming up in 2021. Or maybe you want to be just a little further away and just be on LinkedIn and see what I say and comment, and that's okay. However you want to interact, or really far away on this podcast. I feel like the podcast listeners, because you don't get to comment. Now you can, if you like, you can send us email to podcast@presidentiallifestyle.com with a 1 or 2 minute audio message. That's the best way. Like if you send me an email and it's like 7 pages long, it'll be hard for me to get it in to my schedule. But if you just record an audio message and attach it to an email, and it's like 1 or 2 minutes long, then I'll listen and I'll reply. I might even talk about it here on the podcast. You can write a review. Absolutely, you can. That would be awesome. But I really like to interact with you. So I can do that on like LinkedIn or even on Instagram. And I can do that if you're in our community, the Prosperity Club, or if you're one of our Presidential Experience retreat or one-on-one patients. And so however you want to get connected, I'm going to guide you through. But I'm not done yet. So how do you want to feel? Be willing to ask for guidance. Do not get stuck in 2020. And so the last one, since I'm asking you not to get stuck in 2020, what I'm really asking you to do is experience 2021. Like really, really, really experience it. Just open your eyes, see what it is. Don't judge it. Just don't have any expectation. Now you can know how you want to feel. Have that, but don't have any expectation on what that needs to look like because you could be wrong. I didn't know I was kind of knew I was going to be in a relationship, but I know, okay, I did. I was like, I was so intentional that, that I was going to be in a relationship in 2020 that I was very intentional about, but I didn't know all the details about him. So some of those details I typically wouldn't have even noticed, but universe knew what I needed. And so universe put blinders on for the things that there are some things that I typically would have swiped left on because I just had an idea in my head. But so I didn't see those things. And now I'm glad that the universe didn't let me see them because they're so small compared to the huge things. Right. So, we fuss and we complain about our significant others, little quirks or idiosyncrasies, but this man loves every single one of them. And I have some quirks and some idiosyncrasies and some just weird things that I do. And so accepts all of them, every single last one of them. So you think I'm not going to curb my judgment and be like, oh, I can put up with some socks on the floor, or whatever the thing is. So all I'm saying is don't close off, like really experience it. Don't have a judgment or a closed mind to what 2021 could be for you, because it could be totally freaking awesome. And then the last thing for 2021, I'd like you to set a target. Now, and because the reason why I say a target and not a goal, because like, what do you want to hit in 2021? I want you to think of it like that, because I want you to visualize and just make that target. You can make it a bullseye. You can make it whatever you want. I don't care what you make it. Just make that target. Put 2021 right on the top of it. Just visualize this 2021. And then right in the bullseye area, put what you really, just one incredibly awesome target. Like for me in 2020, it was my love. And so what is it for you? I'm putting growth. That's what I'm putting for the business, for Presidential growth. We are growing Prosperity Club. That's what I'm putting right there in the middle of my target in 2021. Now, there are a lot of other things I want to experience in 2021. I told you I want more speaking engagements, more trips, more, just more. Plenty of things. But what I want more than anything is to grow our group. Just to grow. I just want growth. Yes, and I can feel it. Can you feel it? So what is that word for you? Whatever it is, just feel it. Maybe you want a new office for your business. Maybe you want a new house now. Maybe you want a new baby. Maybe you want a new relationship. Just get really clear on what it is that you want for 2020. Just get really clear as to what it is you want for 2021. You can do this. And it can be exactly what you want it to be. This I know for sure. But you know what? Actually, it could be even better. 2020 I thought was going to be a great year. I really did. But I had no idea how good it was going to be to me. And even though there were some areas that were scary, overall, 2020 has been one of my favorite years. For some of you, that's not true. That's not true for you. But it is true for me. And I get to celebrate my good. When I have good fortune, I get to celebrate that. I don't have to be sad because there is sadness in the world. What's happening in the world is separate from what's happening inside of me. Now, we're all connected, and I'll explain that in another episode. We are all connected, but I get to feel what I feel. I'm allowed to feel happy, even when others aren't. So I'm giving you permission. Even if some things didn't go your way in 2020, I'm giving you permission in 2021 to feel happy, to feel growth, to feel compassion, to feel love, to feel accomplished, to just experience the year, see what unfolds. And every day, just visualize your target. Visualize yourself hitting your target. Just seeing that arrow fly through the air. So straight. Hit your target. Yes. And feel the feeling that goes along with that. And just hold that feeling. Just hold it. Hold it. Hold it. Good. I am so thankful that we spent this time together. I know that you're going to experience 2021 in a way that 2020 didn't even 2020 had no idea how good 2021 was going to be, right? I'm declaring 2021 the year of fun. Are you with me? 2021 is the year of fun. Let's do it. Let's go there. Let's have some fun. We got a few more weeks left to really make 2020, make something out of 2020, but to get ready for 2021. So I will see you next week. We're going to be talking about more financial. We're going to get more into the financial. I'm going to tell you about the 5 financial ideas I used to get through 2020 in one piece. Yeah. All right. You ready? Well, I'll see you then. In the meantime, have a prosperous week, my Prosperos. Thanks for listening all the way to the end, my Prosperity Pro. I want to stay connected with you. Here are 4 ways. Pick the one that works best for you if you want to stay connected with me. 1, if you have any questions, I'd love to answer them. Send them to podcast@presidentiallifestyle.com. I'd love it if you would make a 1 or 2 minute audio message and attach it to an email. That'd be the easiest way for me to get it. Ask me anything about creating a life of meaning over money, and I'll get you an answer. Remember, the email address is podcast@presidentiallifestyle.com. 2, subscribe to this podcast and share it with your friends, because you guys might want to have a discussion about it, especially if they're a CEO who wants to shift from the old American dream to a life of meaning. 3, we try not to have any sponsors on this show unless they are truly in line with our values. I mean, really a good fit. So that means we fund this podcast ourselves. I'd like you to take a look at our resource page to see if there's any products or services that we recommend that are right for you. If not, no worries, maybe later. If so, please use our affiliate link to purchase. Thank you in advance for doing that. You are such an amazing person. Okay, 4 and last, if you want to know what's happening over here at Presidential Lifestyle and you want us to email you the update, then go to presidentiallifestyle.com/blog/now. And you'll see the current updated blog for the week, but you'll also see a link to subscribe to that blog. We can email it to you if you like. That's presidentiallifestyle.com/blog/now. Don't worry, you don't have to remember that link or any links. They're all in the show notes. Oh, and I forgot to say, if you're enjoying this podcast, go ahead and leave us a review and tell us how much you're enjoying it. And now for the legalese. This podcast is not to replace professional counsel. The best advice is from a professional who knows you and your specific situation. The topics discussed in this podcast are general in nature and for informational or entertainment purposes only. We encourage you to meet with a professional that you can discuss your specific situation with. Whether you choose us or someone else, one-on-one counsel is important, whether it's a financial, therapeutic, legal, or other decision. So that's all for now. I'll see you next episode. And remember, you can have wealth in all of its forms. Believe it, and you'll soon see it.